The Wishing Well by E.F. Benson. Narrated by Trevor O'Hare. The village of St. Gervais lies at the seaward base of that broad triangular valley which lies scooped out among the uplands of the North Cornish moors, and not even among the fells of Cumberland could you find so remote a cluster of human habitations. 4 miles of by-road, steep and stony, lies between it and the highway along which in tourist time the motor buses pound dustily to Bude and Newquay, and 8 more separate it from railhead. Scarcely once in the summer does an inquisitive traveler think it worthwhile to visit a village which his guidebook dismisses with the very briefest reference to the ancient wishing well that lies near the Lick Gate of the churchyard there. The world, in fact, takes very little heed of St. Gervais, and St. Gervais hardly more of the outer world. Seldom do you see a man or woman waiting at the corner where the road from the village joins the highway for the advent of the motor bus, and seldom does it pause there to set down one of its passengers. An occasional trolley, laden with sacks of coal and cargo of beer barrels, jolts heavily down the lane. For the rest of the farms of the valley and the kitchen gardens of the cottagers supply it with the needs of life, and its few fishing boats bring in their harvest from the sea. Nor does St. Gervais seek after any fruits of science or culture or religion, save such as spring from its soil, which furnishes its wise women with herbs of healing for ailing bodies, and from its tradition of spells and superstition of a darker sort to be used in the service of love or of vengeance. These latter are not publicly spoken of, save in one house at St. Gervais, but are muttered and whispered in quiet consultations, and thus the knowledge has been handed down from mother to daughter since the days when, 3 centuries ago, a screeching, handcuffed band of women were driven from here to Bodmin, and after a parody of a trial, burned at the stake. It was strange that the vicarage, which might have been expected to be unblackened by the smoke of legendary learning, was the one house where magic and witchcraft were openly and sedulously studied. But such study was purely academical, the Reverend Lionel Eusters being the foremost authority in England as a writer on folklore. His parochial duties were light and his leisure plentiful, for a couple of services on Sunday, where, to judge by the congregation, sufficient for the spiritual needs of his parish, and for the rest of the week he was busy in the library of the creeper-covered vicarage that stood hard by the Lick Gate that led to the churchyard. Here, patient but unremitting, he worked at his great book on witchcraft, which had engaged him so many years, occasionally printing some subsection of it as a pamphlet. The origin of the witch's broomstick, for instance, had furnished curious reading. He was a wealthy man.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?